Okay, in this video we're going to look at question 6 of a Unit 1 exam paper. This question is worth 13 marks, so it's a big chunk of marks for the exam, so it's important that we do a good job. Like question 2, the format will always be the same or similar. You will have to explain why the relations changed, grew worse or improved during a time period, in this case 1945 to 1948. This is why it's important you know your dates, because if you talk about an event that is not in that time period, then you will not get any marks for it, no matter how good it is. So make sure you know your dates. So we're going to look at 4 model answers, and we're going to see what mark they got and explain why they got that mark. This is the first one. One reason was the Berlin blockade, another reason was the Marshall Plan. Okay, now obviously it's very simple. Only gets 1 to 2 marks. They've used explaining language, which is good. Sorry, starting language. One reason and another reason. So they've laid it out quite well, but there's no explanation whatsoever, so it's quite poor. Only gets 1 to 2 marks. The second one gives a bit more detail. One reason, we've got our starting language again, was the Berlin blockade, which was when Stalin cut off road and rail links from the western zones of Germany from West Berlin. He did this to take control of Western Berlin so he could have all of it, as he already had control of East Berlin. So it's described the reason, but it hasn't shown how it led to relations changing between the USSR and the USA at all. So the maximum it can get, if it was done for 3 different reasons, would be 6 marks. This third one is a lot better. Again, we got the starting language, one reason. One reason was the Berlin blockade, which was when Stalin cut off road and rail links from the western zones of Germany from West Berlin. He did this to take control of Western Berlin so he could have all of it, as he had already had control of East Berlin. But the candidate's gone further. They have explained how it made the relations worse. This made relations worse because the USA saw Stalin as trying to starve the West Berliners, and they felt they had to stand up to the Soviets and show them they would not be forced out. Their response was the Berlin airlift, and this could have led to war between USA and USSR, and even the dropping of nuclear bombs if the Soviets shot down planes. So, there we go. We can see that this is a much more explained answer. If this was done for 3 different reasons between those dates, it could get up to 10 marks if they're all done equally well. Now, to get the full 13 marks, which was A star material, the candidate must link and prioritise reasons. This is exactly the same answer again. One reason was the Berlin blockade. This made relations worse because, and it's explained it again, but it's gone further. It has linked this to another event. It's linked it to the dividing of the Germany and Berlin into the 4 zones, which is A star material. It's linked, and it's started to prioritise reasons. It says, however, the blockade wouldn't have happened if the Allies and the USSR hadn't divided Germany and Berlin into 4 zones, because at the conference at the end of the war they agreed to split Germany into East and West, and Berlin was in the Soviet zone, but was also split into the East and West. Stalin was not happy about this, and this is why he did the blockade a few years later. So, as we can see, they have linked the Berlin blockade to the last conference, the Potsdam Conference, and the splitting of Germany and Berlin, which is how they got the full marks. This can be done, this linking and prioritising, either within the paragraphs, like this one's been done, for one reason, but it would have to be done in all 3, or it can be done in a final paragraph at the end, so your answer can be the 3 reasons explained, and explaining how they change the relations, and a final paragraph explaining how they all link and prioritising them. Or you can have 3 paragraphs, each with a linking and prioritising section in them. Or you can do both, which is probably the safe bet to get the full marks. I'd like to stress that this answer here would not get the full 13 marks as it is, because it's only one reason. It's if they do equally good standard for 3 reasons that they would get 13 marks. So, thank you for listening. That is all you need to do to get the 13 marks on this question.